Black Goose TV family, what is happening with y'all? Blessings upon blessings to everybody. You already know what it is, man. We back with another Fluence boxing up in this thing, man. We got some topics that we need to touch on. I'm not even gonna say topics, topic. The topic of the day is Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade. Some big news has been announced today, and I got to touch on it, man. I got to touch on it. I got to give you my opinion. I got to give you my analysis. And you know what I'm saying? I just want to just dive deep up into that thing to get a little bit better understanding what's going on right now in this super middleweight division. And we got a new name in the Canelo sweepstakes. And he goes by the name of Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade. Before we get into all of that, though, I need y'all to hit that like button for me, man. Hit the like button if you come up in here. Whether you watch 2 seconds, 3 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, you have it on repeat. Just hit the like button first for me. If you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe to this thing. I'm telling you right now, there's a lot of sports channels out there. There's a lot of boxing channels out there, but there's none like this one right here. Because when I tell you I analyze on a whole nother level, I'm telling you, I analyze on a whole nother level. That's just fact. So please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're not part of Black Goose family, because we all family here. And then, first and foremost, and the most important thing in the world, hit the notification game so you know when I'm going live, okay? So you can come up in here, you can hop up in here, you can join the chant, give your opinion, all that good stuff. So appreciate everybody. Salute to the people. But let's go ahead. Let's jump right up into it, man. We got some things to talk about, and all has to do with the Candyman. The Candyman. So if y'all see the title, I said Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade. Is he the Candyman of the 168 division, right? And obviously, if you are a super fan of boxing, then you understand Andrade 168. That's wrong news. By the way, let me do the little mic check real quick. I gotta make sure everything's sounding good and beautiful and delicious, even though I'm pretty sure everything's about as crispy as a couple chicken tenders coming out of the motherfucking fry. You heard me? So let me make sure that sounds good real quick. So excuse me, the feedback. All right, y'all go ahead and ignore that feedback. Everything's good. We solid. Everything good in the hood. But why did I title it this way? Is Demetrius Andrade the Candyman of the 168? If you're watching this, or if you see the title, the first thing you're going to say, if you haven't been following the news, you're going to be like, wait, hold on. That's wrong information, Fluence. Andrade ain't no super middleweight. He's a middleweight. Well, I got to give my flowers to my guy, Boo Boo Andrade, first and foremost. Y'all know he's one of my favorite fighters. Y'all know I tend to talk a lot about my favorite fighters, but only when the topic of discussion is necessary. Because I know y'all like, wait, Fluenceboxing, he was talking about Kell Brook, now you talking about Boo Boo? Like, hey, look, at the end of the day, how many boxing channels is giving these dudes shine, right? Not too many people are talking about them to the extent that they need to be talked about and give them the respect that they deserve, but also be unbiased about it. Back to my point, though. If you guys watched Boo Boo's last fight, he fought the one and only Liam Williams, right? Looked absolutely magnificent. Magnificent. Beautiful show. In Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade's style, looks like he can finish the guy off in the first 3 rounds, decides to coast it a little bit through. Go ahead, give us a show. But it looked amazing. What Andrade hinted at after the end of that fight was, hey, I'm thinking about moving up to 168. I'm going to drop these belts. I'm moving up to one, or I'm going to drop this belt, excuse me, and I'm going to move up to 168, right? But if you're a Boo Boo fan, you've heard Boo Boo say this before. Obviously, I'm not saying he said it numerous times because Canelo's only been at 168 for so long, right? But we've heard Boo Boo say this because we know Boo Boo, there's two fights Boo Boo has been chasing since the beginning of his career. And I won't say the beginning of the career, but when people started talking about Boo Boo, his skill set, when he became the boogeyman of the middleweight division and the light middleweight division, all these type of different things, the narrative, or at least the understanding when it came to Boo Boo, first and foremost was there was the Jamal Charlo fight. Boo Boo has been wanting Jamal Charlo for I don't know how long. Now, obviously, if you are a super boxing head, if you're a fan of Demetrius, you know it goes all the way back to when they had a bout schedule. It got canceled for whatever reason. A lot of people say it was Boo Boo's fault. He was the one who was ducking Charlo, both the Charlos, whatever you want to say, but really Jamal. He's the one who was ducking Jamal, all these type of things. He was the one who really didn't want the fight. But if you watch, there's years back of footage of Boo Boo calling out Jamal, going to the presser, calling out both of the twins. We know the number one guy Boo Boo has been chasing for the longest has been Jamal, right? That's been the number one guy has been chasing. But obviously, as time has went on in boxing, the king of the sport has become Canelo. And Canelo just so happens to reside in the weight class that Boo Boo hovers around, right? So now everyone's putting their name into the Canelo sweepstakes. Everybody wants Canelo. If I'm a middleweight, if I'm a super middleweight, hey, God damn it, let me talk about Canelo, because there's a chance that I can get that great payday. I can get that big money payday. And if I beat him, I become the new king of the day. Everyone knows that Canelo is the guy. He's the sweepstakes. He's the new Floyd, all this good stuff, right? So we've seen this transformation and this shift happen when it comes to Boo Boo, is where he's kind of diverted his attention away from Jamal, right? Also, because Jamal is a PBC guy, PBC guys are not stepping outside of fighting any other PBC guys unless the money makes sense. It has nothing to do with the fighters. It has all to do with the business model behind PBC. So I'm not going to get into that. That's just what it is. But with Boo Boo understanding that now you have to set your sights. You have to look, okay, what am I going to do to make myself relevant? I'm 33 years old. I'm considered one of the best middleweights, the slickest middleweights, the most avoided middleweights. But at the same time, on the other end of the spectrum, I'm also considered the overhype, the guy who hasn't fought anyone, quote unquote. The person where everyone's talking about my skill set is this, and that, but really, who have you fought for us to really believe in that? Because that's how boxing fans are. Boxing fans, if they don't know the guy that, if they don't know who this so-called, a person with the skill level at the same tier as my favorite fighter, if I don't know who they fought, then to me, they're not as good as my favorite fighter, because my favorite fighter, I know who he fought, and who he fought is better than the guys he fought, right? That's the narrative you get, unfortunately, when it comes to boxing a lot of times, because people are such fanatics, rather than being realistic. But at the end of the day, I want to salute to when I, dropped a little short video. I wish I can, I always want to do the shout outs. I'm not going to look it up real quick, but salute to you. I loved your analyst and your comment that you put in on that video where you said you disagree with me when it came to people, when they say, hey, Andrade hasn't fought anybody. He's like, no, he has. But I agree with you, but you're a boxing head. Most people aren't boxing heads. So a lot of people, when they see the resume of Andrade, they don't understand that just because you don't know them, the fashion he beat them is what makes him, if you're really understanding and you have that eye and you understand boxing, you know how good Andrade is and why he's a guy that's very avoidable when it comes to, most guys in that division. So, it's interesting, Andrade is in this position now where, all right, let me shift my focus away. I thought the money fight was with Jamal. I thought that's where we can make all the money. You know what I'm saying? Actually, he was saying at one point, you know how Boo Boo talks. He was like, look, I'm Boo Boo Andrade. Like, I want to go over. I want to fight Jamel. I want to beat Jamel in his weight class. And after I beat his brother. I beat both them bums. I'm gonna beat both them bums. So that was Andrade's kind of shtick, right? He was like, okay, I'll beat both of them. I can beat both of them. They're avoiding me. But now, obviously, the money's not in Jamel. The money's not in Jamal, right? The money's in the king of the division. It's like low ball hot in my crib right now. But I'm like the money's in Canelo. So last couple of years, what has Boo Boo done? Boo Boo has called out Canelo. He's put his name out there. You guys remember after Canelo beat what was it? Was it Billy Joe? I think it was after Canelo beat Billy Joe. You guys saw the back and forth with Demetrius. Well, for the first time, we heard Canelo really, cussing at someone. What he was saying. I don't want to mess up the algorithm and saying it and all that good stuff. That's for Zen Fluids podcast and for the Fluence. But he was, get out here, motherfucker, get out here, motherfucker. And Boo Boo was like, fight me. Why don't you fight me? That was one of the rare moments where a lot of people didn't know who Boo Boo was. And a lot of those Canelo fans don't know who Boo Boo was or is and how good he is. And they were like, why is this bum calling out Canelo, right? That's the one shining moment Boo Boo has had in the past couple of years where people are talking about him outside of his fan base, right? So now, finally, if you are a big fan of Boo Boo, one of the biggest frustrations, at least personally for me when it comes to him, is I felt like he had this illusion that he knows how good he is. He knows who he can beat. So in his mind, he was like, why should I change what I'm doing? These motherfuckers need to come to me. And I think a lot of that is also based off the fact of his pops, because his pops is, very significant in his life, very significant in his journey, very significant in the boxing decisions he makes. And his pop has a very calmness and the understanding that, hey, son, don't oversell yourself to the point or overextend yourself to the point, or at least this is what I get, kind of from this is what I get from the outside in. Don't oversell, overextend yourself to the point where we're reaching basically for dust. You know what I'm saying? We ain't playing the lottery here. All right. We want better odds. And so, it's a double-edged sword, because from the outside looking in, as a fan, you can get frustrated and be like, Demetrius, like, boo-boo, like, bruh, really start doing shit to make noise. So the Charlo, the Jamals, David Benavidez, Caleb Plants, Triple G's, and the Canelos, and all these different guys, they start saying, hey, I have to pay attention to this guy, boo-boo. Right? But that's just never been his shtick. And I respect it at the end of the day, but it's frustrating as a fan. But now we're finally seeing, still in Boo-Boo's own fashion, because some would say too little too late, right? Boo-Boo's 33 years old. He hasn't took much damage, so he's nowhere near his past his prime, right? But at the same time, he's at that point now where it's like, either you do it now or you're never going to be able to do it, right? He's kind of in the same position where I see Chris Eubank. The only difference is Chris Eubank can't take another L. I think, that ruins his entire career for another L for Chris Eubank. I think Boo-Boo can take an L, but it has to be to the right opponent, right? It can't be to somebody, he can't take an L to someone other than Canelo, right? But anyways, I like the fact that now in Boo-Boo's own fashion, he's like, okay, I'm going to get in on this Canelo sweepstakes, right? You guys kind of saw me last year when Billy Joe and Canelo fought. Y'all kind of saw me kind of do something out of the norm, which isn't too much out of the norm. He did the same thing to the Charlos back in like 2015, 2014, but he rarely does that. Like we say, we have two instances in like the span of like 10 years for him doing that. But he goes into the press conference, says, why don't you fight me? I'm the real fight. I'm a horror fight. And a lot of people are like, who is this bum? Why does he even get to say these things? But you know what I'm saying? This is how Boo-Boo and his team works. And so now, slowly but surely, today, we have a major announcement. What is that announcement? Well, it's official. Boo-Boo has made his way up to 168. Boo-Boo has made his way up to 168. Not only has he made his way up to 168, but he has an opponent, Zach Parker. Zach Parker is his opponent. And if you're not a boxing head, you're going to be like, I have no idea who Zach Parker is, so I don't even know why you're talking about the brother. He's fighting another bum. He's fighting another tomato can. Zach Parker is legit, y'all. As we get closer to that fight, you know what I'm saying, we're going to break down, me, I like to do videos on, certain fighters. If you guys don't know who he is, especially if we're talking about, one of my favorite fighters fighting someone and y'all want to talk about, oh, he's fighting a bum, a tomato can. I like to, do a little in-depth analysis. So I will be doing that on Zach Parker. But just understand, he ain't no slouch. He's in the prime of his goddamn career. He's undefeated. He's number one ranked in the WBO super middleweight standings. So if we're talking about Demetrius Andrade versus Zach Parker for the interim WBO belt, right? So there's stakes to that. So right away, his first fight is not only against the number one contender, but it's also for a belt. So when you want to talk about someone putting their money where their mouth is, Boo-Boo's doing that and then some. Right? But it's a long time coming, right? Because a lot of times Boo-Boo just didn't do that. Boo-Boo was okay with people in his fan base consider him being the best. Excuse me. Because a lot of people who's in his fan base, let me tell you this, we know boxing. Because there ain't no eye test when it comes to Boo-Boo. You got to watch that shit. You got to understand there's certain things he does that's just unmatched. Similar to Terrence Crawford. If you ain't watched Terrence Crawford, you won't understand why the fuck we rave about him and love him and see him as like just one of the GOATs, right? Or see him as unbeatable. You know what I'm saying? Because I've watched Spence's fights. I watched Crawford's fight. There's just something different about Crawford, in my opinion. And that's how I feel about Boo-Boo. When I look at the whole 168 division, right? When I just look at it, I study it. I try to, look at the skill sets and things like that. If there's anyone when it comes to that super middleweight division, the middleweight division, light middleweight division, Boo-Boo has always been the guy where it's just like, if he got his opportunity, he would clean out the division. No one's going to beat this man, right? The one knock against Boo Boo, I would say, is his power. That's probably the one knock I would give Boo Boo. But as you've seen him go up in weight, you've seen his power increase. 154, okay. 160, now I'm interested to see him at 168. Because Boo Boo was already, he's a pretty big boy himself. Like I think Boo Boo could fight at light heavyweight if he wanted to. But Boo Boo, he's another one of these guys, like I was talking about yesterday about Kell Brook, where he's constantly in shape. He's year-round shape. He never allows himself to blow up too crazy because he's constantly training, right? So let's talk about it. Why should we be excited for what we're seeing in this super middleweight division? First and foremost, I want to give credit to Canelo, right? People don't understand the significance of Canelo leaving Oscar De La Hoya at the time he did, right? People don't want to give him the praise he deserves because it was very Floyd Mayweather-esque, and people like to, kind of overlook it because you see him, he's kind of rocking with DAZN now. But for him to leave Oscar De La Hoya at the time he did, it opened up the floodgates for us to really talk about, hey, Canelo could fight Bivol. Canelo could fight Beater Biv. Canelo could fight Danny Jacobs. Canelo could fight Triple G again. Like all these different fights that we didn't think were going to happen to an extent, or we think it was going to be difficult. All that went away when he split from Oscar De La Hoya. So one, you got to give credit to Canelo because Canelo is the one who made these sweepstakes available, right? When he was with De La Hoya, we all knew Canelo was the new, Floyd. He was the cash cow. He was the big guy on campus where everyone was chasing to try and get that fight. But at the same time, we understood certain fights weren't realistic because he was under that Oscar De La Hoya banner. Like, there's no way we're going to get a Charlo fight. There's no way we're going to get a Benavidez fight. There's no way we're going to get a Bivol fight. There's no way he's going to fight a guy like Billy Joe Saunders. There's no way he's going to fight a guy like Callum Smith. There's no way he's going to fight, maybe Triple G again, but Triple G, he ended up going over to the zone. So it was like, okay, that's probably not going to happen again. Like, all right, who is he going to fight? He's going to fight Jamie Mwanga. Like, you know what I'm saying? There was this air of illusion of, we know Canelo is that guy, but with him being under Oscar De La Hoya, it's like, okay, how much reign or freedom is he going to be able to have to fight certain people that people want to see? So first and foremost, we got to give love to Canelo for being able to be like, all right, let me get the fuck out of this contract. Let me take control of my own fate. And now the floodgates open, not only for fighters who felt like they never had a chance to even be in there, because you got to remember Jamal, he was somewhat talking about Canelo, but he didn't really start talking about Canelo until he left. So not only give fighters this in that division to be like, oh shit, now's my chance, but it allows fans as us, because that's how the sports move, that's how business moves. The idea of possibilities. You know what I'm saying? We hang on the idea of, ooh, what if? You know what I'm saying? And when that's taken away from us, and partly the biggest reason boxing, a lot of people have a lot of beef with boxing, is because the era of what if has been taken away from us, because we're like, niggas can't be like, what if Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford happened? Because it's not. If you know the business, PBC ain't finna make that shit happen. It just is what it is, right? If you really know the business, if you're not a fanatic, but you're a boxing head, you understand the business of it, certain things just aren't going to happen. So, and I feel like that's why there was such a dead point, with boxing, because the era of the illusion of what if went away because of these promotions. But Canelo did a good job grabbing that back and being like, let me be on my own, because now we're like, oh shit, Canelo just left a Golden Boy, and then he signs this 3-fight deal with fucking Eddie Hearn, and he's fighting Callum Smith and Billy Joe Saunders. Like, what? So you're telling me now Canelo, anyone has a shot at Canelo? The illusion of what if. Now, obviously, that's not entirely true. Everyone doesn't have a shot at Canelo. But because of him doing that, it spikes our interest. We're more like, oh, shit, our favorite fighter might get a chance. And now we're really interested and we're watching the game, because what are these what drives this shit? And you see it from, the NBA narratives. That's why ESPN and all that stuff is so big. Narratives drive this shit. So when you take away the illusion of what if, we don't have a narrative to fall upon anymore. We're just like, oh, they're going to announce the fight when they fight it. Hopefully it's a fight that I want to watch and I'm going to watch it, right? But when you have the illusion of what if, now we're talking this shit. Oh, shit, what if Charlo fight Canelo, where Canelo says he wants to fight Bivol, he wants to fight Boo Boo. So, you got to give your credit to Canelo for doing that. You know what I'm saying? It allows us to be like, okay, Boo Boo has a chance now. Me as a Boo Boo fan, like, okay, Boo Boo can. But now it gives us a realistic look where it's like, for these guys to get this fight with Canelo, you got to be able to do the same sacrifice Canelo did, or take the same chances Canelo, right? So when I look at like a guy like Jamal Charlo, everyone wants to say that Canelo's ducking Jamal Charlo. But whenever I hear somebody say Canelo's ducking Jamal Charlo, I say, you don't know shit about the business of boxing. That's the problem with the boxing community, man. A lot of us know, a lot of the boxing community knows about boxing. And a lot of the boxing community know about their goddamn favorite boxer. A lot of the boxing community, they're boxing fanatics. Like, we love the sport, all that type of shit. But there's always this disconnect when it comes to the business side of it. And so we want to blame fighters for all this bullshit when really you just look at the business side of it and you just be like, oh, Canelo's not ducking Jamal, right? PBC has been made it clear that they're only fighting PBC fighters unless you go, you work with them on their terms. Canelo finna not bend the knee to them niggas, right? But then you saw the Caleb Plant versus Canelo happen. And now we're all like, oh, shh. Now we're back to what if, like, oh, this, okay. So if it make money, it makes sense, right? A lot of people don't know, though, Caleb Plant was expendable, right? Caleb Plant was young. He was looked at, as a champion at that division where it was like, okay, we respect him, but at the same time, he wasn't over that hump. So he was expendable. Jamal Charlo's not expendable, guys. It has to make fucking sense for PBC to sacrifice that. Just like Earl Spence and Terrence Crawford. If I'm going to give you a chance to beat one of my main cash cows, it has to make sense. Right? It can't be a win. It can't be a lose-win situation where where PBC, if my guy loses, I don't get nothing in return and you get all the win. It has to be a win-win situation. It always has to be a win-win situation when you see these promotions giving up fighters that they feel like they're going to be able to piggyback off of and make money for a long period of time as long as they place them against the right guys, especially PBC. I've already talked about this yesterday. PBC has a model very similar to UFC. So that's just the case. So this idea of Canelo is ducking Charlo and David Benavidez. No, I'm pretty sure PBC probably was like, if you want to fight one of these guys, this is the stipulations you have to abide by, Canelo, because these motherfuckers is too important in our stable for us to just say, hey, here's our most important fighters in this division. And if you just so happen to beat them when they come back, we're not going to be able to sell the same tickets or be able to present the air of illusion of that there's a possibility these are the best guys in the weight division. Once you go over, you fight Canelo, and if you lose, I cannot promote their next fight as saying this is the best guy in their division. See what I'm saying? So now we're losing money. So there's no ducks. Canelo's not ducking them is because they're probably not presenting the best offer, which is why there's rumors going around of him verbally agreeing to Bivol and Triple G as his next fights. And a lot of people will say, oh, he's ducking Charlo. And I hate that people think PBC has the best guys. I still don't understand that. That's all fucking business. But I'm like, that's why Canelo has verbally agreed to Bivol and the Triple G trilogy. Now, obviously, Canelo came out. He disputed that report. He said nothing's been signed. Don't believe it. All this good stuff. But at the end of the day, where there's smoke, there's fire, guys. Okay? Especially someone like Mike Coppinger. Coppinger is not going to report something that's entirely false. So if he's saying that Canelo verbally agrees to Bivol and Triple G this year, we're most likely going to see that fight. He was the same one, I think, that broke the Billy Joe Saunders and Callum Smith fight first. So I'm like, when it comes to Mike Coppinger, he doesn't miss. So, but anyways, my point is there's a reason why Canelo will agree to that over a David Benavidez and Jamal Charlo deal, because there's more incentive to Triple G and Bivol, right? Okay, I'm going to be working with Doesnt again. I'm going to be working with Eddie Hearn again. I know Eddie Hearn, he lets me use my promotional company. He's going to give me a bigger cut. And why would I go to Eddie Hearn? We've done great business with each other since I've left Golden Boy. So it's like PBC has to make it sweet. He has to make the deal sweet. And PBC is not going to bend to that knee. PBC is not going to bend that knee. Eddie Hearn, on the other hand, he's not going to bend the knee but he knows what makes the most money makes sense, and he's willing to be like, I'll put my best fighter out there and possibly take an L against you, Canelo. I'm willing to take that risk. That's something Eddie Hearn has been willing to do it, because the thing about Eddie Hearn is he has shown to be able to promote, and I'll give him this, promote fighters with losses. He does a very good job of, hey, this fighter just took a bad loss, or this fighter has an L on it, and still promote them in the sense of, who cares if he has a loss? You know how good this motherfucker is. Watch his fight. And that's why I give credit to Eddie Hearn a lot too. I used to, like, when I was big, not last year, but the year before, I used to, Eddie Hearn, promoter of the year. Eddie Hearn is the guy where he's like, I don't mind if my cash cow, or the guy that I feel like is the best at the division, or who can, you know, maybe carry this division when it comes to my promotional company, if I have a chance to put him against an American star that's bigger than them, I'm going to do it, even if he might take that loss. Majority of promoters don't. Every other promoter except Eddie Hearn doesn't do that. No one else does that. Eddie Hearn's the only guy who does that. And then when they take that loss, what does he do with that fighter? He doesn't just push him to the side. He continues to promote him. Right? PBC is not going to take that chance with Jamal Shaw and David Benavidez. They're going to have something in the contract where it's going to make Canelo second guess it. Simple as that. And that's why, kind of to circle this, put this in full circle, you have to applaud Boo Boo finally, Boo Boo and his team, because you know he's with his own, you know he's with Eddie Hearn. So what does this mean? If you're finally saying, hey, I'm going up to 168, I'm going to stop telling people to chase me. I'm going to start chasing people because I feel like I'm that good and I need to be in that spotlight. What do I have to do? I got to vacate my WBO title at 160. I'll go up to 168, get this title shot, and I'm going to show you, hey, you can't keep avoiding me. I'm Boo Boo. You can't keep avoiding me. And I applaud it because he's putting himself in prime real estate to be the next, I won't say the next opponent, but at least for Canelo to take notice. Because I am telling you, we only saw that one fight with Caleb Plant over PBC. That was a rare commodity, guys. If this doesn't end up happening where he fights Bivol and he fights Triple G this year and he beats both of these guys, what is there really left for Canelo to do at that super middleweight division? Other than, wait, there's some guy named Boo Boo as a WBO interim belt. I'm just saying, man. That puts Boo Boo in prime real estate finally. People are going to start having to talk about Andrade. So this goes back. So basically me saying, like, if you look at the title, I'm saying, look, one, I'm totally against narratives of ducks. No one's ducking no one, right? The only people who duck in boxing is the promoters in the business because it has to make money to make sense. Okay? But I'm telling you this now. Boo Boo has put himself in the sweepstakes. He bought the ticket. He went up to the corner store, knocked on it. Hey, I want that ticket right there. Got the ticket, bought it. He's officially in the Canelo sweepstakes now. Before all that other hoopla, all that other shit he was talking, I'm like, bro, you're not in the sweepstakes. You're not even in the same weight class. You're not willing to give up your belt and go up, take a chance. Boo Boo is finally taking a chance. And one, I ain't got nothing but respect for it. Two, I ain't got nothing but love for it. And three, he's not taking the easy route. Because I'm telling you guys, Zach Parker ain't no joke. All right. I'm gonna make sure when we get closer to that fight, don't worry, I'm gonna do a breakdown on Zach Parker. We're gonna watch some of his footage, we'll watch some of his film, and we're gonna talk about this guy, Zach Parker. So you guys aren't unfamiliar with some of Boo Boo's fighting if you don't know who he is. But this guy's no joke. Think about Joe Smith Jr. at the super middleweight division. That's basically Zach Parker. Dynamite in both of his hands, fundamentally sound, doesn't get shook. Dude's undefeated in his prime. This ain't gonna be an easy fight for Andrade. I'm gonna be interested to see how Andrade takes punches from bigger opponents, since he's such a slick fighter. Tends to leave himself open for some shots, but he rolls with most of them. I would be interested. I want to see how his power carries up to another weight division, right? Those are like my key things I want to see. Because if I'm able to watch and see that all that translates well, then Demetrius Andrade is truly going to be the Candyman of the 168 division. Why do I say that? Because niggas don't want to say his name because he just might show up, goddammit. And you don't want Boo Boo to show up. Jamal said Boo Boo's name maybe like once all last year. Triple G don't even know who he is. Caleb Plant don't even know who he is. David Benavidez, I'll give him that. David Benavidez, he talks about Boo Boo. He says, I'll take that Boo Boo fight. I would love to see that. But I'm just saying, man, Boo Boo has finally put himself in prime real estate, man, and I think this is a smart move for him. And I can't wait for this goddamn fight. They got the purse bid for February 24th to see what it's up going to be on. Most likely, I see DAZN probably winning that purse bid. I don't see why they win it. It's just going to be both their fighters. Well, I don't know if Zach Parker's with DAZN, but I know he's a overseas fighter. But excuse me, I see DAZN winning that purse bid. So I can't wait, man. Like, I want to say this too, man. Boxing, when it comes to 2000 this year, we got some shit to really look forward to, guys. We got some shit looking forward to, and I think we're finally seeing a shift where, you know, take away the welterweight division, but we're starting to see a shift, at least in this super middleweight division, where the guys that we've been talking about so long, where we want to see them fight, it just might happen. It just might happen, and that illusion of what if is back, and it's a good thing. It's a good feeling, and it makes me excited, and I'm pretty sure it makes y'all excited. So, you know what I'm saying, nothing but positivity and nothing but, positive expectations when it comes to this year of boxing, man. I'm excited so much for it, and I can't wait for this Boo Boo fight. So remember, y'all. Remember, I told you this is my new thing. I'm right at the mark, but remember, this is my new thing when it comes to Fluenceboxing, man. I'm trying to keep these joints around 30 minutes. So if y'all got any rewatch value, man, y'all can come in here, listen to it while you're at work, whatever it may do, and not feel like it's long with it or nothing like that. But once again, man, if y'all come up in here, if y'all rewatch it, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit the notification gang so you always know when your boy is going live. And most importantly, man, I want to hear y'all opinion on anything I'm saying. So leave a comment. You know what I'm saying? If you're disagreeing with me, disagree with me. If you say, if you feel like, I gave out misinformation, correct me. If you agree with me, you know what I'm saying, go ahead, put it in the comments. If you just want to say great stream or terrible stream, whatever the fuck you want to say, man, drop it in the comments below. I want to hear from y'all. Make sure you guys go check out the other content as well. Like I said, every day I'll be dropping a couple short videos for you, just kind of, give you an update on some boxing news and trying to get your opinion. Those are going to be specifically for y'all. So I want to, please hop in those comments as well and let me know what you think. And then also keep checking out the community board, man. I'm going to be updating the community board every goddamn day with polls, you know what I'm saying, to see how y'all, how y'all feel about certain topics that I'm putting out there. So make sure y'all check that out as well. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be a hell of a weekend. We got some great goddamn fights when it comes to Saturday. On the boxing and the MMA side of the game, Islam Makhachev versus Bobby Green, man. I'm gonna be up in this thing. And then of course we got goddamn, on the boxing side of the game, this shit just I just went blank. Why? We got Jack Catterall versus Josh Taylor fighting, and then who else is on that card? And then Chris Colbert. Chris Colbert's on that card as well. So we're gonna be going Fluence Lounge for that Saturday. This Friday, no Black Goose Friday yet. We're gonna postpone that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of work happening, but we are gonna be having a Fluent Sunday this Sunday. So y'all look out for the new music on Sunday. But I just want to say, man, much love to everybody, man. Much love to the Black Goose family, man. Ain't nothing but respect, ain't nothing but positivity, ain't nothing but blessings, man, on everything, man. And I just want to say, for real, whatever you do, just do your best to do it consistently. All right. The more consistent you do it, the more you appreciate it. And then always just try to do the best to keep your outlook in a positive mindset. Don't let nobody bring you down. Don't let nobody tell you no shit that don't make no sense and make you feel like you're done with shit. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, keep your mind right, keep your shit tight, and always just, make your way toward the light. Because if you do anything else, I'm telling you, man, you're always going to have a fight. You heard me? So much love to everybody. Salute to the people. I'm going to get up out of here. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to go get in the stew, get some music popping. I'll be back to the motto. Mañana with a whole nother Fluenceboxing. We're gonna talk that shit. And then also I think we should have a Fluence and Zen podcast tomorrow. I'm not 100% sure about that. But you're gonna see my motherfucking pretty ass again tomorrow. But I love y'all, man. Appreciate y'all. Please stay positive. Blessings. Remember, if you take anything from this podcast or this particular Fluenceboxing, just know Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade is the Candyman of the motherfucking 168 division. He will be. That's what I'm saying. All right. He already is, in my opinion. He's been the Candyman, but he's going to go ahead and translate that up to 168 now that he's officially made the move. He's a Candyman. Why is he Candyman? Because you say that nigga's name 3 times, he's going to show up. He's going to be like, I'm Boo Boo Andrade. Somebody call my name. Y'all niggas won't work. What's up? They don't want that. So they careful. But salute to y'all. Love y'all. I'm going to get up out of here, man. Enjoy y'all night. Stay blessed. Stay positive. And fuck stress. We out here, baby.